Hi guys, my name's Subtutor, I'm the man on the Silver Mountain, and welcome back. Now today I wanted to talk about emotional resilience. Why? Because I've talked about resilience before, but it was very much a more overarching and all-encompassing form of resilience. And it was part of my 3 R's of personal strength, which were reason, responsibility, and resilience. But people generally being tough is what people usually believe resilience to be. And it's not always the case. It's the case of just not letting yourself kind of get crushed by things, not letting yourself be stopped or beaten by stuff. And the place that people seem to find this most difficult is on the emotional side. You know, you hurt someone physically, and there's a chance that they'll either recover or they won't. It's finite. It's limited. You attack someone's ideas, and it's not the impact on the ideas that will stay with them. It'll be the emotional feelings attached to that, and so as a result, I see people feeling vulnerable and upset and miserable. Excuse me, and so that can be really hard for them to shake. You can talk to them about it, you can go through stuff with them about it, and it just doesn't necessarily shift an awful lot if they don't want it to. And even if they say they want it to, they might not actually do it. Might actually want it to, because they have found a place that's comfortable for them to sit in whilst feeling upset. But then it stops them from moving forward, and that's why resilience is such an important part of being a strong person. But the emotional resilience angle is definitely one of these areas that needs to be tackled more directly, and needs some more kind of thought putting into it as well. And as a result, I've got a few things here just to think on, just to help, which I want to go over with you guys. It's a list of, I think it's about 8 or 9 things to go through, and so I hope you find these useful. Now, the first thing that I would say in regards to improving your emotional resilience would be that you need to know where your boundaries are. Because if you don't have those boundaries in place, if you don't have them as solid constructs in your mind that you then enforce in your life, then people are going to walk all over you. We've talked about boundaries before in regards to relationships, in regards to kind of ways that you manage yourself, and this is literally those things. Making sure that you're not kind of suffering, and that's what defines you, because you've not allowed yourself space within your own head that you've laid out for you. And so when bad stuff hits you, all you feel is the upset, because it just fills up that entire open, empty plane of your mind and of your emotional kind of emotionscape, I guess, would be a way of describing it. And so, knowing your self-worth, knowing your values and where you want to go and where you want to be, and having those as kind of enshrined and defended things, it allows you to push back against the more negative emotional kind of impacts of things as you go. And so, if you're interested in boundaries and things like that, I've done other videos on them. If you want to know more, if there's something that you don't feel I've covered as well in those videos, then leave a note down in the comments below, and I'll take a look into that. The next thing to be in regards to helping you maintain that emotional resilience is to be self-aware. Having boundaries is all well and good, but if you don't know yourself particularly well, so those boundaries don't necessarily include everything about you that you would like to have defended, or they are those boundaries are unrealistic for you to maintain, then you're not going to get far on them. And so making sure that you're keeping yourself in a good state, monitoring yourself, and having that level of awareness around your own thoughts, what kind of sets you off in regards to negative emotions, and how you can guard against that, then informs the creation of those boundaries that we mentioned a minute ago. And it allows you this perspective so that you can potentially adjust and adapt as you need to ensure that those boundaries maintain their kind of structure and maintain their strength, even if the land beneath them starts to shift and shudder due to changes in your life. And this is the next thing, and that's that you need to be kind of accepting and adaptable. And in regards to being adaptable, kind of living in the present is the thing that allows you to adapt more than anything else. If you're so stuck in the past, then you're going to be anchored down to whatever has gone before. You're not going to change. You're always going to refer back. If you're too focused on what's ahead of you, then you're going to have too high hopes, and you're going to be too steadfast, and you're not going to be able to bend and flex to still get to where you want to go, but it'll kind of break you down, because it'll be more like a cliff being worn down by the sea, as opposed to a pine tree or a more kind of flexible a tree with a more flexible kind of bark or wood to it, being hit by a storm. It'll sway around, but it won't fall down. It's harder wood, or it's more solid. Comrades in the forest are more likely to break down and be knocked down and blown away, or just uprooted, than the tree that can actually give a little. So keeping in mind that you're in the present, focusing on what you can actually engage with, and then just being accepting of the ebb and flow of life, whilst also, again, keeping yourself in check, making sure that you're healthy and you're happy and you're on the level, in a way that then allows you to keep a good set of boundaries in mind. Now the next thing is, no one knows all the answers. No one has kind of all the answers, and you shouldn't expect yourself to be perfect, to have all the answers, to be able to do everything instantly. And this is something that a lot of people do. They expect so much of themselves, and this in part follows in with the self-awareness thing, but I wanted to mention this separately because there are so many people who beat themselves up over things that are so unimportant, but just because they expect themselves to be so amazing and so good and so this and so that all the time, and they are never going to be. The number of people that I talk to who are upset about the fact that or nervous and worried and kind of getting held up on, I've got this thing to do and it's really scary. Well, why is it scary? I need to do this and then I need to throw it out into the world. Well, fine, surely that's just a fire and forget, and then you wait for the feedback, and then you take the feedback, look through it, take on the good parts, ignore the parts that bounce off those boundaries that you've laid down, and then you move on with your life, right? Because that's all you can do in the moment. But it's so scary. Well, then you're not monitoring yourself and keeping yourself in check, are you? You're not being self-aware. But it's that beating themselves up, it's that creation, that active creation of negativity, because they are demanding things of themselves that they're never going to manage. Yeah? This needs to be perfect, and it needs to be done, and it needs to be loved by everybody, and it needs to be this, and it needs to be that. None of those things are going to happen unless you're some kind of amazing genius, or if by chance you get lucky. You might get a couple of those things, but then the rest is a learning experience, and you need to learn from it in the moment, right then and there, not worry about the future or what's already gone. It just needs to be tackled in the moment. The next thing is kind of, you need to ask for help. Like, it's so easy to focus on like your limitations and get so wrapped up in that, and then you'll get stuck, and you'll not work forward on anything. You'll just be frozen in that moment, and that's where you need someone else to pull you out. Because all of this stuff I've talked about before in other videos, but the thing that I hope people take away more so than anything else is that you need to be open to help. There is always going to be that time when not only do you not know all the answers, and not only do you are you kind of incapable of tackling it all by yourself, you're going to have to reach outside of where you would usually be to find a way forward. Yeah, there's always going to be that time where you can be incredibly self-aware. You can have strong boundaries. You can have developed as many great habits for keeping yourself in the present, and being as self-aware as possible, and knowing that you don't know everything, and then you still run face first into a solid brick wall, and you're not going to be able to get over it. But that's where you shouldn't be focusing on the wall as this immovable object that you can't get past. It's a challenge. It's a world of possibilities. But again, a 5-foot tall human is going to potentially have quite a difficult time getting over a 15-foot kind of smooth wall. You're going to need some help, either a boost or someone to throw you a rope to get you over it. There's no two ways around that. Sometimes you just need help, and again, you don't know everything. You can't know everything. Literal impossibility. And so there are other people that do know, that have done, that can help. And so all you need to do then is look for those people, find them, engage with them. Yeah? By receiving help from others, you can learn more things, you can develop yourself, and you'll be able, in a better situation, to then also help others that you care about. We learn through helping others and through being helped by others. Don't try and lock yourself away from that, regardless of how good you think you are and how well you think you've done in regards to setting your boundaries and keeping yourself strong. The best form of strength there ever will be is when you can go, okay, I'm strong, but I'm not omnipotent, and so I can still engage with someone else for us to both be strong. That's how cities are built, that's how nations are formed, that's how wars are won, that's how progress is made. So, and that's on a big scale and on a small scale. Don't lock yourself away from it. And then the last thing that I want to bring up is something that I haven't actually talked all that much about, which actually surprised me when I was looking over my notes for this. And that is, there's always the paralysis that comes with over-analysis. Rather unsurprisingly, it's often referred to as analysis paralysis. And it's that moment where you get stuck in your head, where you just cycle over the same things in your mind, and you can't move forward because you get stuck there. Even if you're being highly self-aware, even if you're being you've got your solid boundaries, even if you've got some people there to help you, and you're trying to stay in the present, and you've got all these things to check in on, there will always be those times, late in the evening when you're home alone and there's nothing to distract you. You just can't summon the energy to do anything, but vegging in front of the TV or in front of a game or listening to music or anything else just isn't distracting you, and the only things going through your head are those bad things, those things that you've fucked up on, those things that maybe even from years and years and years ago, that one girl that turned you down in that horrible and humiliating way, that one guy that messed you up horribly because of the way that your breakup ended up, that stupid thing that you did last week in front of your co-workers where you ended up feeling humiliated even though no one else really gave a damn. That big thing that you tried to do that just fell through and you just couldn't manage it because of what happened. There are going to be these times where these things just sit in your head and just start to pull you around and round and round in circles, and you just have to start kind of picking them apart. And in regards to this situation, the thing that I would say is the best way to remove yourself from that: stay busy. And it can be hard. It can be hard to get motivated. It can be hard to kind of push yourself towards doing things when you're not engaged, when you're not distracted, easily distracted by stuff, when you're just not feeling it. When the normal stuff doesn't work, find something new. Look at what's around you. Focus on being in the present. What can you do now about any of those things? Think your way through it. I'm thinking about stuff that's been eating at me for years, but it was years and years ago. It doesn't actually have any impact on my life now. What can I do now about what happened then? If the answer is nothing, find something else. Look for another distraction. Look for something new. It doesn't have to be something that you would always do. In fact, I would probably suggest trying something that you've never done before, or something that you don't do much of. If you're into your big art housey films, then watch some crap TV that's just crass. Yeah, watch an Adam Sandler movie. That'll do the trick. Yeah, just do something different that will engage you in a different way, even if you hate it. Yeah, because hate's a strong emotion. You sit down and you watch a crap movie that you hate so much. By the end of it, that's fine. You're thinking about how crap the movie is now. You're not pulling yourself to pieces over stuff that you can't control because it's so far gone in your past. But anyway, guys, there are my tips. I'll probably count them up and add that into the title of the video, because I don't actually think that was... because I've got bullet points here. I've not numbered these. I've just been reading them off. So I'll I think that was about 7, maybe. But either way, guys, I hope you found these interesting, because especially kind of from things that I've seen from friends, especially amongst kind of groups of girls that will that are all friends together and they've all got stuff that they're working on, they will pull each other down, and it won't be deliberate. It'll be, oh, I'm worried about this. Oh, I'm worried about this too. Oh, you're also worried about this. Oh, let's go round continuously in a fucking spiral talking about how upset or worried or concerned we are about these things, and then we as a group will get stuck in the analysis paralysis of this together. None of them make any progress forward. All of them do worse work than they could do otherwise, and it just ends up preventing all of them from moving forward, instead of any one of them just standing up and going, no, hold on, we can't control these things that we're worried about, we just need to do these things that we can actually do, you know. And I say it's mostly women because that's what I've observed. I'm sure that there are guys that do it too, but especially when I was working with a mostly male leadership team, this, rather unsurprisingly, the emotional side of resilience wasn't brought into work. It was a case of going, oh, well, if you're going to be a bitch about it, then fine, but we're all going to continue to do whatever, and you can pick up when you sort yourself out. And that attitude of just going, well, we're still going to work, allowed maybe more space. I wouldn't necessarily say it was always the healthiest thing, depending on what the issue was, but it was a culture that allowed for just push forward, to push things out of the way that would get in the way, to push against each other, to continue, to compete, to advance. And that's not always what I've seen going into places that aren't as focused or aren't as, I don't want to say macho, but as masculine focused, because again, guys and girls think in different ways, and so when it comes to the emotional side of things, it's not that guys don't have them, they just handle them differently, and a lot of that comes down to like basic inclinations. And so the worrying side of things, it happens, but the boundaries, the pushing against things, the being more aggressive about what you can do in the moment, something that I've seen displayed by guys more than girls. So, but as said, these things will in theory help anybody, so whether you're a guy or a girl or whichever situation you're in, hopefully you've got some benefit out of this, out of the bits and pieces that I'm throwing out here. But otherwise, guys, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are, and what else, when you've been in a bad place, when you've been kind of stuck in that analysis paralysis, and you've been You know, you've not had boundaries, you've been in a bad place, you've had that negativity kind of rolling in and in and in and in and in. What did you do to get over it? You know, as I've said in other videos, we can learn from each other. I'm throwing this stuff out there to start the discussion as much as help people. So if you've got something to contribute, please do down in the comments. Otherwise, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the video tomorrow. Take care. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, then please drop us a like, share this video, and subscribe for more. And I will see you in the video tomorrow. Take care.